Hi, that's Masha Hufflepuff, the German booktuber based in Melbourne. That is my first wrap-up video today. I show you now my September reads because the month is over. Tomorrow is the 1st of October. So yes, and I was quite productive this month. I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books. For me, that's much, but the reason was actually because I was a bit sick and I had a few days off, and that's why I managed to read a little bit more. So yes, let's start. The first book I read in September was If She Did It by Jessica Treadway. That is a really good thriller. It's a real page turner. It's yes, it's a really good book. I'm not going into details now because I did a video about this book already. I put the link into my info box. Yes, so, but I can really recommend this book. I gave it 4 stars at Goodreads. 4 stars because I was not really a big fan of the ending. It was not a bad ending, but not perfect. And yeah, that's why just 4 stars, but it's a really good book. The next book I read was The Hedgehog by Ezekiel Boone. I think you pronounce it like this. I show you the name. I'm not sure if I... Come on. So that is the name. Hedgehog. That is a wonderful book. When I saw the cover in the bookstore, I was already in love. I really thought, oh my god, that's such a cool cover. I mean, look at the spiders here crawling around and the spider web, and it's just amazing. Yes, it's a very scary story about spiders. So many different things are happening on our planet, in different countries, different continents, but they are connected. So for example, in South America, in Peru, tourists are getting attacked by a river of spiders. The Chinese government drops a nuclear bomb on a Chinese island. In India, a very strange earthquake is going on. So there are many different things happening at the same time. And after a while you realize there's a connection. Yes, spiders. I really liked also the way how the book was written. The chapters are very short. Every chapter is just a few pages long. For me, it's always easy when the chapters are very short, because then I just read more, because then I just say, oh, one more chapter. Every chapter shows you a different location. So for example, you have one chapter and this chapter is dealing with the earthquake situation in India, then the next chapter is dealing with the situation in Peru, and so on and so on. So every chapter shows you what's going on. And slowly the locations, the people there, and so on grow together. So there's a big connection, the big picture shows up, and it's not a pretty picture. And when I was 2/3 through the book, I knew already, oh my god, this book has a cliffhanger. And I was right. So it's an open ending, and it's a really strong cliffhanger. So when you finish this book, you're really like, no, why? Please tell me what's happening. Yeah, so I checked out immediately when the second book comes out, and I think it was December 2017. I think it was December. Don't kill me if I'm wrong, you can check it out yourself. But yes, so yes, Mr. Burwood, I'm busy here. Mr. Burwood. No respect here. Yes, so yes, we have to wait for the second book. But I really recommend this book. Especially when you're scared of spiders, you have to read this book. It's really cool. So 5 stars. The next book I read was The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I watched the movie many years ago. I think I liked the movie, but I never read the book. It wasn't planned to read this book. I was just in a bookstore browsing, and then I saw this book, and I don't know. I was in the mood for a depressing, grey, sad book, so I picked it up. And yes, so it's about actually a destroyed planet. So something really terrible happened. It's not really described what actually happened, but yes, the planet is destroyed. Everything is burned and grey and dusty, and yes, there's hardly any food left. Most of the animals are dead, and yes, and the few people left have to survive. And of course, it's a really terrible world now, a very harsh world. Many bad people survived as well, and so yeah, and it's about a father and his son who try to survive in this world. And yeah, it's a really grey, depressing, sad book, but it's so well written. It's such a page turner, and you know, Cormac McCarthy really he was really able to describe how the world looks like, you know, the streets, the villages, the cities, that you really get a feeling for this. You can really picture how it looks like. It's really amazing how he's doing it. So yes, you're completely into the story. So I gave it 4 stars, and 4 stars just because I was not a big fan of the ending, because I didn't really get the ending. Maybe I'm strange, and some of you will say, oh my god, Masha, why didn't you get the ending? You're crazy. I don't know, it was not really my ending. I'm really a big ending person, so for me endings are really important. And yes, so I was not 100% happy, but it's a wonderful book. You have to read it. The next book I read was The Shadow House by Dan Poplocky. It's for young readers. Normally I'm not reading such books, but Richard from Books and Bullshit, I put the link into my info box, he recommended this book, and he said it's such a spooky book, and he said he read Shining by Stephen King, and he said that is spooky, and he got very scared, and he was surprised that actually this book is for young readers. So yes, he was talking so much about this book that I thought, you know, I give it a go, so I got it. And it's a real good book. I mean, it's for young readers, so you are reading it very quickly. It's very easy to read, but the way the book is made, it's a really good idea. So I mean, you have great pictures. The cover it's pretty cool, and you know, you can. So on the pages you can see like grayish and, you know, black, and there are pictures as well, many pictures. For example, I show you a picture. Where's the picture? No picture here when I want to show you pictures. Here, for example, a scary little boy with a rabbit mask staring at you. There are really strange pictures in this book, and that is the haunted house. So the story is about a few young kids around 12 years old, and they come all together to this haunted house, and very spooky, strange things are going on there. And I have to admit, I'm not sure why this book is for young readers, because I thought it was pretty spooky. So it's a really good read. And if you are in an autumn Halloween mood and you want to read something really nice, but not too, you know, not too heavy, not too, you know, So it's a really nice read, but spooky. So it's quite interesting, and it has a cliffhanger. So it's an open ending, and the second book comes out next year, and I'm going to get it for sure. So I really like this book. I gave it 4 stars. Then I read The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I don't think that I have to explain what's happening in this story. Everyone knows that. But I never read the book before, so I did. And I really, really liked it. It's a really, really good book. So if you want to read some classics, that's a good start. It's a really, really good book. Then, well, I gave it 5 stars. Did I say it? I don't know. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. That, of course, is also a classic. I had it for a long time in my bookshelf. I mean, yes, it's an important book, and it's about racism, and it's still a very, very important topic. But I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of this story. Maybe it was because I was sick. I was lying here in bed, was coughing, was dying, and I read this book because I couldn't sleep. Maybe that was the reason. I don't know. I can't really describe. Yeah, it's not my book. But of course, I mean, it's a classic, and I think everyone should give it a go. But it wasn't mine. So I just gave it 3 stars, I think. The next book is Used and Rare by Nancy Goldstone. Now you can't really see it because it's so shiny. This book got recommended by Australian booktuber, and this book is actually about book collection. So it's about a couple. It's about a couple, and she tries. So they are normal book lovers, normal book readers. So they don't collect books, but they love to read. And then for her husband's birthday, she tries to find special copy of War and Peace as a birthday present. And because she has to look for this book, and she has to call many bookstores and second-hand shops and blah blah, she gets into this book collection scene, and and then she likes it very much. She's very interested, and after a while, she and her husband, they build up a really big passion for book collecting. So they spend their time to go into second-hand shops and bookstores and antique shops, and they try to find really rare books, and so they start a book collection. So if you're interested in book collections, I can really recommend this book. Otherwise, yes. Yeah, it's really, it's nice to have a look, to read. It's quite interesting what they tell you about some books, but it's not a must. I gave it 3 stars. Okay, then I read Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. I don't have to tell you what's about, because everyone knows Anne Frank. I read this book many years ago already, so actually it was a reread. I watched the movie a few weeks ago, and it was a very good movie, very sad. I really had to cry a lot, and after I finished the movie, I thought, well, I would like to read the diary again, because I think I read Anne Frank when I was still in school, and so that was a reread. And of course, it's a wonderful, and of course very sad book, and everyone should read it. And the last book I read in September was The Elegance of the Hedgehog by Muriel Barbery. It's a French book, and it's just so wonderful sad. So wonderful sad. I watched the movie before. I didn't know about the book, so I watched the movie. The movie is also, I can really recommend the movie. The movie was so great. It was in French with subtitle. A really wonderful and very sad movie. And I thought, well, I have to read the book now as well. So, I just finished this yesterday, so I'm still emotional, touched when I see this book. So it's about, so there's two main characters. So one is the 50 around she's around, is a lady, she's around 50 years old, and she works as a housekeeper in a very posh, fancy, expensive apartment block. She's a widow. She's very lonely. She just has her cat, and she has no friends, and she's actually an unhappy person, but she has a big passion for books. She's always reading, and so she knows all the books. She reads Kafka and Tolstoy, and so she knows books, and she's really smart. But she's hiding this. She doesn't want to show that she actually is more than just a simple housekeeper, but all these very important rich people living in this apartment block, they don't see her. They treat her like she's invisible. She is for them she's just a housekeeper, and she knows it, she feels it, and yes, it's very sad. And the other main character is a little girl. I think she's 12 years old, and she grows up in a very rich, very important family, so with her parents and her older sister, and she's a very smart girl, and she knows, or she thinks she knows how her life will look like. She can see her future already, and she thinks that her life will be like all the lives around her, be very money orientated, very shallow, and she's so unhappy about it that she wants to kill herself on her 13th birthday, I think. Yes, she wants to kill herself. So she has a plan, and and it's so wonderful how this little girl, so there's in every chapter she describes what she observed, how her mother's acting, what her father is saying, what her sister's doing, and she observed all these situations, and and explains to you what she thinks about it. And she's such a funny and smart girl. It's just wonderful to read this. So, and after a while, this girl and the housekeeper, they come together, and yes, so it's a wonderful but also sad story, and devastating ending. You really have to cry. Normally I never have to cry when I read. I said it yesterday in my video that I don't cry when I read, but yesterday when I was reading the book, it was the first time that actually that I was almost crying. That was really, yeah. So I can really highly recommend this book. 5 stars. So that was my September wrap-up video. I hope you liked it. If you liked my video, I'm happy about a thumbs up. And if you read one or more of my books I read, I would like to see some comments. Yes, so that was my video, and I will say goodbye now, and I wish you a wonderful weekend. See you next time. Bye.